Who'd you talk to? What's going on? It is me, Mike Lepre, King Mike L. This is Legit Paranormal News brought to you by LegitPodcast.com. It is August 30th, 2023. 830-220. Oh, crap. I'm not going to even try. I am King Mike L.
I'm Dreamy David Barr.
Hi, I am Machine Mandy.
Cynn, Shrader, Hill author.
And Dave, now for our top story. Now, Dave, before you get into the top story, I just want to do a quick couple things. First off, there's a fly in the studio. And I'll be honest, I was watching those late night commercials, and it's right here. And they now make look at this thing. They now make a super soaker that shoots salt.
I've seen it.
Have you seen it?
Yes.
Oh, I lost it. Anyways, it looks cruel, but I want one because you just shoot salt and the bugs just drop out of the sky, and like there's something like biblical about that. I would love to just shoot salt and just see insects drop. Like isn't that like the sign of the apocalypse?
I don't know.
Bugs
But Mike, you should break out your chopsticks because according to Mr. Miyagi, men who catch fly with chopsticks accomplish anything.
Yeah, I can do that. So I'm just gonna go over 20 more facts for you there really quick, Dave.
All right.
That I found that are actually true. I don't 100% believe in all of them, but humans are the only animals that enjoy spicy foods. Now, that makes no sense to me because they're the only ones that cook, right? So I don't get it. Humans are also the only animals whose brains shrink. I get that one. Yeah, no, but that makes sense. I know some people that I know have had that. Look at this thing. Number 3. Look at this thing. Number 3. Potato chips cause more weight gain than any other food. I would just say stop making them because I can't not eat chips. If
You
I'm
can't eat just one.
No, but I just can't even not eat chips. Like if I'm getting a burger at a barbecue and there's a bowl of chips, which to me is still one of the, in general, getting chips is a gross procedure. Everybody just shoves their hands and things. But anyways, I'll still eat them. Number 4, that fish is probably labeled wrong. Basically, salmon's not salmon. You never really know what you're getting. Like scrod, no one even knows what that is. You know what I mean? The fish business is extremely shady. I think we could call it a shady business because 1/3 of all fish sold in restaurants and grocery stores are mislabeled. Apply that to any other business model. 1 out of 3 is just we don't know. Like that wouldn't work. Number 5, bananas can't reproduce. Basically, it's because they don't have seeds. I was gonna go a bunch of horrible ways with this. I decided to just keep PG-13. Whatever, they have a better time. It's impossible to hum while holding your nose. Now, I don't think this one's true. I think I can do it. I'm not about to do it, but I did it before the show, and I'm pretty sure you can do it. No,
Please
I'm not gonna
do
do
it.
it. No. Because the thing is, I already have it. No, I already have like half a collapsed nose, so it's not hard for me to hold my nose and hum. I'm kind of doing that now. I'm just, it's just a little different. Number 7, the least interesting day in history was April 11th, 1954. I don't like. I wasn't around, so like, you know what I mean? How do we know? Whatever. Adolf Huxley and C.S. Lewis died on the same day as JFK.
Really?
They died within 10 minutes of each other. And then it goes on to ask why they are not remembered for this. And I wrote, he's an easier name to say, JFK, other than those other ones. He's better looking. He was shot in the head during a parade. Oh, yeah. Was the leader of the free world. So I get why they were forgotten on that day. I was on a plane once with Senator Pell, and he had to be about 90 something years old, and My buddy turned to me and said, "You know, we're going to go down on this plane because we're going to remember it as like 15 others. It'll be Senator Pell dies in plane crash along with 15 others." So I always get that scared thing about if somebody's. All right, let me get back to this. I'm telling myself. Bigger forks leave you less. I don't agree with that. My food does fit my fork. Like it doesn't like. How can a bigger fork make me eat less? Like I hear what they're saying, but like my food fits the fork. Like I take whatever size fork I got in my hand and I grab that amount of food. It's the repetitions that get me. It's not the cell phones are full of bacteria. Yeah, God only knows that. The longest living insect is the termite. I want to know how they do that study. And
I would have thought it was the cockroach.
I thought it was you.
Yeah, no, termites can live as long as 100 years. But like, who knows that for? All right, chewing gum after a meal reduces heartburn. This and more great work from the University of Bubblicious. That's ridiculous. Dogs can smell cancer. Now, see, I somewhat believe that, but I'm of the opinion that if my dog can smell cancer but can't cure it, still dog food. Bees can detect bombs.
What?
I don't know. I started to read this one, and it made sense. And then I thought, why don't they try? Oh, I almost had it. I'm sorry. I'm like, why don't they try every animal? Like every animal, give one a shot. Like I would try llamas because of I think I got son of a bee. It is. I'm like, dude, I'm doing like stunt work right now. All right, let me get back to this. Where did I even end up? Right here. The fucking fly. It's gonna be the fly episode because I'm gonna kill this son bitch.
Sounds like me.
Boyfriends do more housework than husbands.
Oh, I believe that.
Yeah, no kidding.
100,000%.
Like, come on, of course we
They
all
also
do, and they listen to your stories more.
Yeah, they do a
all
hell
that
of a lot
stuff.
more.
Give me a break. What a dumb study that was. That comes from the book of Duh. The world's biggest tire producer is Lego.
What?
Yeah, they make the most amount of tire due to how much they use on Lego pieces. They're actually like that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. That was one of those that's so far 2 times Lego has produced something stupid for me to read. Like that's another just a stupid fact. All right. The longest word you can type with just your left hand is sweater dresses.
Huh.
There's only one reason someone tried to find what the longest word they can type with their offhand. All right. Next question.
Did that happen, Mike? Wait, did that happen on the most boring day in history?
You know, Dave, it wouldn't have been the most boring day in history then, because that day was just devoid of all. Naps can save your life. Which
What?
I believe that, but I can't nap, so I got really angry with this because I just can't nap. It says 37% of people are likely to die from a heart attack. 37% less are likely to die of heart attack if they daily nap. Yeah, it reduces your heart risk by 37%. Another study.
They do say to get you should get 8 hours of sleep every night to prevent that from happening. Is what
Does
I've
anyone
heard.
get 8 hours sleep at night?
Hell no, I'm always tossing and turning. I can't get 8 hours. Not a full. No.
Dave, what about you? I do 5 every night.
I do 6.5 to anywhere from 6 to 7.5.
All right, is that straight though, all the way through?
No, I wake up, I toss and turn.
Cynn, what about you?
Insomnia here. I wake up every hour and a half to 2 hours. If I sleep 3 hours, it's amazing.
See, I can only do, and it's literally 5. So if I go to bed somewhat early, I'm usually up at 3 or 4 o'clock, and I hate it. There's nothing to do. There really is not. There's nothing. Okay. You sleep better and deeper on a hammock than a bed. You say hammock, but I say hammock than a bed. They said it's because of the rocking motion. Didn't we figure this out with babies? Like, yeah, rocking helps. but like grown men, we can't get anybody to rock us. Like, you know what I mean? No one's coming to rock my bed. They don't sell that yet. Newborns do not shed tears. Did you guys know that newborns can't shed tears, actual tears?
I might have heard a saying like that before, but
So
I
they're
don't
fakers.
know.
They're fakers. Bunch of fakers. David, your story?
Is that all the facts you got for us, Mike?
Oh, Dave, I got more, but we don't want to go there. Let's go with you.
All right. Do you remember Sesame Street when they would say this episode is brought to you by the letter, I don't know, S or whatever?
B.
Yeah.
Would
Yeah.
never be my letters, M and L. I always waited for M and L. Never heard M and L. I'm serious.
Our top news story is brought to you by the letters WTF.
Oh,
I got to figure that out.
What's the function? No.
All right.
What the?
All right.
So scientists have been creating synthetic human embryos from stem cells. So some scientists were not a good idea, if you ask me. I get the whole sciencey part and being able to do this and the information we can gather, but
They've seen the movies. That's all I got to say is they've clearly seen all the movies that start with this premise, and not one of them ends good.
right. So scientists speaking at the International Society for Stem Cell Research's annual conference, which had taken place in Boston, Massachusetts, revealed.
Shocker.
What's that?
Oh, I was just saying, shocker. Sorry.
Revealed for the first time that researchers have successfully engineered synthetic human embryos using stem cells. This was reported by the British website The Guardian. Scientists say that these model embryos resemble those in the earliest stages of human development, and they can provide a crucial window on the impact of genetic disorders and biological causes of recurrent miscarriages. So they're basically creating these things to see what goes wrong because they can't do that within the human body. And then they're trying to find cures and solutions for these things as a
Can I
result.
ask you a question?
Sure.
Really quick. Why would you want to make fake babies? Isn't that like, don't you have to sign something when you become a doctor that you're not going to try to make fake babies? You should have to sign that.
Yeah.
All right. Because I mean, what's the goal there? What good's going to come there? Like, what are we going to see? I'm sorry, freaking out.
No, these embryos allegedly they only are allowed to develop so far, and they're using these embryos, like I said, to study the impact of genetic disorders and the biological causes of miscarriages. So they're hoping to get information that will help them prevent these issues.
they're trying to find biological reasons and answers from something that's non-biological.
From something synthetic. Yeah.
I'm not a woman. I haven't ever been, but I would say this question like do you wanna, Dave? Go on. I'm gonna come back to you. I'm really blown away by this because this is upsetting because
It is.
like
And this was kind of
miscarriage.
inspired.
Wait, stop. I'm sorry.
All right.
A miscarriage is it supposed to happen? Is that's what, like, in other words, is that what it might be awful and it's happened? Like my mom had, I think, three miscarriages. Seriously. Well, like I said, I was twins, so she had one when I was born, or I kicked her or him out. But what I'm saying is, it's kind of supposed to happen. The body's doing something for a reason.
It's
Why?
recognizing that something's not developing properly. And rather than let that continue on and have further issues and complications.
So now we're doing God work, though. Now we're making other people, like, we're saving people before they're born, but we can still do it doesn't even make sense to me right now, but you can continue.
That's why I said this story is brought to you by the letters WTF.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm now starting to figure out you didn't mean the other thing, the functions. Not at all.
Well, scientists are trying to determine what's the function, but for us, WTF means something else. Fortunately, people are recognizing that this work raises some very serious ethical concerns, and there are some legal issues because, quote, lab-grown entities fall outside of current legislation in the UK and most other countries.
Wait a minute. So, like Frankenstein type stuff is not within their laws?
There's no legislation covering this because they've never done stuff like this before.
Mandy, what are your thoughts on that?
I think, well, I don't want to say too much. I don't agree with it.
Mandy's very good at, or she's not very good, but she tries to be good at holding her tongue, is the term I would use. Because she's like, I'm gonna say no, maybe I just shouldn't say what I really think because I don't know.
I don't agree with doing that, because I think once that embryo is there, that to me is the baby. You know, I just don't agree with it. Not at all.
You're not going out on a limb, trust me. Cynn,
Not
what
even
do
if
you
it's a week. If it's only a week embryo, to me it doesn't matter. That's life. So I just don't agree with that.
Cynn, any thoughts? You are a woman.
I am a woman. I've never had a child, but I'm still hung up on the using non-biological stuff to find out biological reasons and that kind of thing. Do I think it's right? No, I don't think it's right.
It's all kind of creepy, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks for ruining the whole night so far. But go ahead. Continue on.
It's
WTF.
fascinating. It's controversial.
It is.
There's a lot of opinions on both sides, so I hope we get some comments. You know, people leave comments on how they feel about this.
Yeah.
So let's go to Professor Magdalena Zernica Goetz. She's from the University of Cambridge and the California Institute of Technology. She's the one who unveiled that they're doing this. And she went on to start explaining the process about how they can create a human embryo-like model by reprogramming embryonic stem cells.
Wow, that's a lot of syllables.
Yes.
Mhm.
So she also says there's no near-term prospect of these synthetic embryos being used clinically. Obviously, now they're saying for now, it's illegal to implant them into a patient's womb, and it's not yet clear. So here's the creepy thing, though. It means they're thinking about this. Like, can we do this?
There's some shenanigans going on here.
Yeah,
It's like having a gun, but yeah, we're not gonna shoot it. You know what I mean? It's like, what? That's what we're talking about. Why would you make it if it's not gonna eventually be used? You just like that's my whole point. Don't make something that you're gonna be like, I'll try it once. You know what I mean? Because it's already been done. That's what I'm thinking now. It's already, if they're telling us this now, it's like the UFOs. We're already like 700 miles down the. Go ahead, Dave.
She goes on to say it's not clear whether these, she refers to them as structures, have the potential to continue maturing beyond the very early stages of development. So
they don't work. So they
don't know, allegedly, because they haven't. It's not legal for them to actually implant these into someone to see if they do continue to mature. So in the lab, they will only go to a certain point.
So they're using it for stuff they want real tests on, right? To understand how things are, make sure they help it change, but it wouldn't actually work.
They don't know.
They know of.
But what's the point? If you make something that's supposed to be exactly like you want it to be, like a tire, it better freaking work. Cynn, if you made a tire, I was like, going to buy a tire. You're like, no, I'm like, I make tires, and I believed you, and you gave me this thing that was supposed to be a tire. It better work, because what's the point of you making it?
Exactly.
All right, Dave, go ahead. I don't know why I got on tires. I'm sorry.
No, but I'm glad you asked the question that you did, Mike, because she says the motivation for this work is for scientists to understand what they call the black box period of development. And it's called this because scientists are only allowed to cultivate embryos in a lab up to 14 days. That's their legal limit. After 14 days, they can't let these things continue on. So then they pick up the course of the development much further along by looking at actual pregnancy scans and embryos that were donated for research.
14 days.
14 days is the longest they're supposed to let these things live in a lab.
I think that's about when the heartbeat starts.
No, they say the heart hasn't developed, and there's more. So Robin Lovell Badge, she's the head of stem cell biology and developmental genetics at the Francis Crick Institute in London.
Sounds right.
And she says the idea is if you really model normal human embryonic development using stem cells, you can gain an awful lot of information about how we begin development, what can go wrong, and you can do this without having to use actual early embryos for research.
All right. Oh, all right. All right. All right. This might not go over well, but so they're making a fertilized kid, right? Basically.
Well, they're taking embryonic stem cells and they're reprogramming them to make a.
But they're letting them go 14 days, right?
Up to 14 days.
That's 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, think about in 2 weeks from now. That's a long time from now.
Yeah, it is.
We would also, by my opinion, and I've been challenged on this before, but we would also gain extremely, yeah, I agree. We would gain some extreme knowledge by just killing babies, right? Just get it inside and
people in general.
Like what's that game? Zzz, the surgery, just
Operation.
Yeah.
Just start cutting them up is what I say. Get them while they're young. They're easy that way. Or we can start donating people like that we know. There's a couple people I know I'd like to donate to that research. Dave, I'm sorry, go ahead.
All right. So previously, Zernica Goetz's team and a rival group at the Weizmann Institute in Israel showed that stem cells from mice could be encouraged to self-assemble into early embryo-like structures within an intestinal tract, and the beginnings of a brain and a beating heart. So they do start to assemble hearts and brains if they're allowed to go so far.
15 days?
I don't know. But now there's a race underway to translate this work into human models. So instead of mice cells, can we do this with human cells? And several teams have gone on to be able to replicate the very earliest stages of development. And the full details of this latest work from Cambridge Caltech labs, they haven't been published in a journal paper. I kind of wonder if they will be. But speaking at this conference in Massachusetts, Zernica Goetz described cultivating the embryos to a stage just beyond the equivalent of 14 days of development for a natural embryo.
Wait, what was the key word of that? Say that again.
Just beyond the equivalent of 14 days.
That's a great look. If you're ever gonna sell a car and it's got like 240,000 miles, you say it's got just beyond 140,000 miles.
Yeah.
Same thing. That was a BS line. Sorry, Dave.
No, it's all right. So these model structures, they're each grown from a single embryonic stem cell. They reach the beginning of a developmental milestone known as gastrulation, when the embryo transforms from being a continuous sheet of cells to forming distinct cell lines and setting up the basic axes of the body. So at this stage, the embryo doesn't have a beating heart yet, it doesn't have a gut, and it doesn't have the beginnings of the brain, but the model begins to show the presence of primordial cells that are the precursor cells of eggs and sperm when they come together. It's kind of mind-blowing.
Hey, more great work from University of Frankenstein. That's ridiculous. That's what we're all scared of. And you know what's funny is they're both females more from the south, and we're males from the northeast, and we're the ones that would probably yak about this the most. Like, it's a weird that we're all together in this room. Like, we all think this is like Frankenstein, right? Like, we all think this is just ridiculous. Like, stop. Can we ask they just stop trying to make us? Is that the one thing we could hope they don't do? Is just stop. Don't make people. We can do that. Like, we can still do that.
Right. Although some conspiracy theorists think we're being sterilized, so maybe they will sterilize us and then they will genetically create master race or whatever. Who knows?
You know what? It's funny, but I'm getting to the age where I'm starting to go, well, tough luck, guys. I don't know what to tell you, but I'll be gone. But you know what I mean? When that happens, I'll be gone. But yeah, I can see it. That dude, you know what's funny is you think the movies they just know what's coming because they seem to be awfully.
They're
It's
on
bizarre.
what's actually going on in reality here when they make these movies.
Or
Cynn?
do they make these movies to prepare us for the reveal of these things happening?
That's a
We've
big
talked about that before, in
Yeah.
previous weeks.
Cynn, what do you think?
What didn't we talk one night about going in and to be able to pick out the baby you wanted to make? Was that us? Wasn't it?
That
maybe before I
Isn't that-
got on.
There was a guy that was genetically modifying, I think, embryos. He was trying to increase their resistance to HIV and AIDS.
There was one something then I saw, who knows exactly where, but where they're trying to figure out, or they're working on this facility or facilities that a parent group or parents can go in and say exactly what they want out of this baby. So they want blue eyes, they want it to be 6
Yeah.
feet tall, they want it to be. Didn't we talk about that?
Wasn't there a movie? There was a
probably-
movie.
We've talked about something along those lines before. And I
Yeah.
know they can splice the genes and give them the eye color, the hair color, and that kind of stuff.
But
Such
there was a
not-
movie like this.
Like supermarket baby.
Yeah.
Such narcissistic pricks. Why do you care what your kid looks like? You want him to look like you. That's what you're going in there thinking. I want him to have her eyes and his thing. And you shouldn't even get to choose. Yes, they call them designer babies. Thank you,
Designer
Sarah.
babies. Thanks.
Normal. That's ridiculous. I would never design my kid. I mean, there's things I'd fix about these two. Just saying, on the record. Gotta be honest. You know, I wish I could go upstairs and fix it. Now, I'm saying I would never go, yeah, this is what I want my. Where's the.
Yeah.
We got to see
Where's
if these
the
people have had
humanity?
kids. If these people had kids, that's what I want to check because they sound like they're just like
They probably
vampires.
don't.
No, they live off kids. They just eat them in pieces like KFC.
Oh, no.
I'm sorry. I like to do that. Anything more on this, Dave?
Yeah, Zernica
I've
goes.
heard about that stuff, but yeah.
She goes on to say that this process is beautiful and it's created entirely from embryonic stem cells. The issues that crop up is this highlights how rapidly scientific advancements in this field have outpaced the law. And there are scientists in the UK and other countries working together, moving to draw up voluntary guidelines to govern this work on these synthetic embryos. And they go on to say if the whole intention is that these models are very much like normal embryos, then in a way they should be treated the same. And that's a quote from Level Badge, who we talked about earlier. And she says currently in legislation they're not, and people are worried about this. So there's significant unanswered questions on whether these structures do have the potential to grow into a living creature. Like they said, the ones from the mice were able to develop the brains and the hearts. In April, researchers in China created synthetic embryos from monkey cells and implanted them into the wombs of adult monkeys. A few of these adult monkeys showed initial signs of pregnancy, but they didn't make it past a few days. So scientists are saying it's not clear whether the barrier to more advanced development is merely technical or if it's got roadblocks biologically.
Somewhere.
Mike looks like he's going to go crazy.
No, I'm laughing. I'm making myself.
Behind the curtain, there are some experiments past these 14 days.
Oh, yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, they've already implanted in humans. They've done this.
no.
They just aren't talking about it.
Look, it's definitely been done. I had one of those moments where I was just picturing like the Chinese scientists chasing the monkeys around for the impregnation. Like, That's so ridiculous of a thought. Like, it's so silly in my head because you can't catch. Ever try to catch a monkey? Period. Like, just saying. Like,
I just want to see the monkey like slinging poop at them.
Yeah,
Or,
that's
like,
what I'm
trying to
saying.
catch
Like,
them, you know.
and then I had to say to myself, "Stupid." They sedate them. Like, that's how my brain works. Like, I immediately went to, how are they going to catch these? All right.
So this whole thing, thinking about this left me with questions like, what if they do take this research further without telling us? Has this happened already? Cynn, you already said that. What if someone working in a lab, takes pity on these things and tries to let them mature and live as humans? So what would happen if one did mature and, it's alive and it's released into the world? What if one of these synthetic humans mated with a natural born human? Like,
You
I don't know if it's
shouldn't have to
allowed.
say natural born human
and synthetic
totally
human.
lost
Like, synthetic and human shouldn't be together at all, but
Right.
it is because this stuff is going on.
It's like it. How do you say natural? What, like, too much, right? Natural born human, like, officially natural, 100% born human. Like, what, Dave? What's going on? Like,
I don't know.
what?
And
what-
like,
what-
would these things have a soul? Like,
That's my. Well, that's I don't want to.
Oh,
I don't want to
wow.
get. See, that's the part of me that doesn't want to get into that because that's where that's my biggest issue on this whole thing. On the whole thing, because no one's ever done that test. There's no test for that. So
there's this
Would you-
awesome show called Evil. It's
Oh,
on
yeah?
Paramount Plus, and in one of the episodes, like, it's fictional and made up and stuff, but they talk about some really bizarre stuff, and some of the stuff's probably happened. But in one of the episodes, there was a priest, and he was about to die, and there was this scientific team that weighed him just before he died, as he died, and just after he died, because the scientific team wanted to find out if a soul had an actual weight. Now, this was completely made up, but I could see this experiment kind of happening.
There was an experiment that they did.
Oh, was there? So maybe it was based on that experiment then.
I can't remember the exact outcome. It was a minuscule amount of weight difference, but there was weight difference. That actually happened.
I'm gonna call bullshit on that. I don't think
I want to see it.
I don't think it weighs anything, and I do know for a fact that some people, they just let their everything just goes on them when they pass.
Yeah.
So you drop a pound or two that way. You can't weigh and who's doing these all I want to know is who's doing these studies. Where do you get these jobs? Are they on Craigslist? Like, what is? You know what I mean?
I get why they're doing this research, but at the same time, I think there's massive ethical concerns, and the fact that they're able to go 14 days, and one of them said even further. It's a little scary.
So
I don't think we should play God.
I agree.
Mandy, is this one of those stories that you get like maybe 6 sentences of, and you just start shaking your head to yourself, like just like it's already off the bad start, like it's gone.
It's not normal.
I don't like it. They've done so much. They've done probably things that we would not want to talk about to embryos and the people, and I don't even like thinking about it. They've probably done worse than just putting them into people. They probably put them in other things. You know what I mean? Other things just to see. It makes me wonder because you got all these weird cryptids. You know what I mean? Look at all these weird cryptids that's running around. It makes you wonder if that's like an experiment that went wrong or something.
I believe it might be, but I just made sure that everybody knows that Mandy doesn't like it. I don't like it. As if she said, I don't like it. Cynn, any last thoughts on Dave's? Dave's been just horrifying us the last couple of times he's been telling stories. But any thoughts on Dave's story? Else?
Yeah, it's happening more than we know. So that's just the tip of the story. That's it.
I agree.
Yeah, Dave, that's pretty spooky. I'll be honest, as scary as the story is, your backdrop is scaring me even more. and I'll be honest, it's because you just have on a red T-shirt. Like, I've never seen anybody chill in the Oval Office with a red T-shirt. Like, no one's ever dressed that down. So that'd be like a record, I think. Very good job. Mandy, would you like to go next?
Yeah, actually, mine kind of goes with his story a little bit. Not quite the same, but it's babies, talking about babies. So, okay, so there is a true story out, a movie out on, I think it's Paramount Plus, but I watched it last night. It really got my attention. It was really sad, but it's a true story. It's about the Butterbox babies, which it's called the Mercy Inn home. It was a place where they had like women that were pregnant, young teenagers, couples that couldn't take care of a baby or whatever the case. But they took over this place, and they were this couple that was running it. They were pretending to be these midwives and things to deliver these babies, but they really weren't. They did not have those skills. And to beat all, they
Oh, you froze. Oh, no. They got to Mandy. They got to Mandy.
Oh no.
Wait, she's at someone else's house using Wi-Fi during the storm. Is she gonna say that they were selling the babies out the back door? Is this like Goodfellas with like when they took over the bar?
It's a horrible story. It's a horrible story.
You remember Goodfellas? And he's like, Paulie's like, you don't want me to do this. This is not fair. Oh, come on, Paulie. He's buy in. He buys in, and then it's like he just starts charging everything, and it gets sold out the back door. The gangsters just take it in the building, out the back door, and they resell it. You know what I mean? Is that what she's gonna say they're doing with babies? Is that what she's gonna say, Dave?
I don't know. I don't know what she's gonna say.
Cynn, is that what you think she's gonna say about babies?
I kind of know what she's gonna say because I know the story of the Butterbox babies.
Oh, we lost her.
Oh. Maybe I didn't know how long she'd want to be on the. She did drop on her own, but I was gonna bring it on anyways because I realized that I had her on pause like this.
I hope everything's all right weather-wise.
Yeah.
Down there.
Yeah, it's just a bitch of a hurricane, and I just feel like we're getting too elaborate with the names. I can't even pronounce the names of the last couple of hurricanes. Just you can call everyone like Izzy every time around. I don't care. Like call it Izzy 2023. Like, do we go through the whole alphabet in a year every time?
Yep.
They start over. Yeah.
Male and female. Male and female.
All right, so it's 52. So do we do 52 hurricanes a year?
No.
All over the world, they've got storms that pop up, and then they give them a name, don't they?
More than 52 hurricanes, though, a year. Because that would be a man and a woman for each one. That's it, one time. That way we stick to the same names. I don't know. Just a thought. I have problems with hurricanes. Cynn.
Yeah. I was hoping I had something about those Butterbox babies right here.
Are they made in butter boxes? Like, what's going on? I want to know now. Is that like... Is someone going to tell me, or am I going to just keep asking? Didn't you say you want some of it?
Inquiring minds want to know.
I just look for it. I don't have it next to me. But there.
I'll find out.
Yeah. And I wonder if Sarah Paranormal knows if she's still there.
Butterbox babies. Oh, this is about the gosh darn movie. I don't want to know about the movie.
No,
the selling and murdering of babies. Yeah. All right, here we go.
It's based on true story.
The ideal maternity. It was called the ideal maternity home. Promised both maternity care for local married couples and discreet birthing and placement for children of unwed mothers. The home was the source of babies for an illegal trade in infants between Canada and the United States. During this period, the laws in the U.S. forbid adoption across religious backgrounds. There was an acute shortage of babies available for Jewish couples to adopt. The home would provide these desperate people black market adoptions, charging up to $10,000 for a baby. Many of the babies in the 1940s ended up in Jewish homes in New Jersey. I don't know why they had to be so specific. At the same time, they would charge the mothers $500 for their services. At this time, the average wage in the area was $8 a week. Many of the mothers could not afford this sum and were forced to work at the home for up to 18 months to pay the bill. So they were getting money coming in, going out on the world's worst idea of trade I can think of. So they were selling the baby, right? Over the I just say a word. Act like you don't know nothing. Hey, Mandy's back.
You guys, I'm sorry. I've had issues all day with the internet. So,
but you're back.
Yeah, glad you're back. We thought you were like Wizard of the Oz right now.
I did. I literally did. I pooped like a ghost. I was gone. 1 minute here and then gone.
Yeah.
So,
You were saying about this ideal maternity ward.
yes. So they made a movie out of this true story. Now, this maternity home was in Nova Scotia, where
Scotia.
Scotia, where 400 to 600 children were starved to death by a couple who ran a maternity home. And you know what they did? It was like for a marketing place for these babies. Okay. But the sad thing is too, they were starving the babies, even the ones that had nothing wrong with them. They would put them on that. They would give them molasses and water for 2 weeks. They did this to these babies. I mean, babies that had nothing wrong with them. Just, I mean, they were so cruel to these babies.
That's the worst way you can kill something.
Yeah.
Because that's just neglect. Like,
well, and then
the worst.
They put them in these food crates. Okay. Back in them days, they had the food crates, and that's where they got that name that they came up with. And they were burying these babies who weren't completely dead. Some of them were still alive. And they had a grave site on the property out in the woods where they were burying these babies. They would take them to the mothers. They wouldn't even tell the mothers. They would lie to the mothers and tell them your baby has passed away, but the baby never did. They would either sell them or they would starve them to death. Horrible.
Wow. Two options I wouldn't pick. Like this, I don't know why they came down to those two options. That's a bad idea. Someone has a bad idea. If you don't, Dave, you ever hear somebody said, "I just had a baby. I'm either going to starve it, I'm going to sell it."
No.
All right, just checking. Mandy, good.
But anyway, they made a movie out of this because there was a couple. True story on this too. There was a couple that actually went there and stayed at this location, and the lady was very sensitive. She was having all these experiences there. The place was very active, and it turns out that this lady was one of these babies that was actually born there, and she was saved. They actually ended up saving her, but she didn't know that she was adopted. She didn't know at all until later in life. In some way, somehow, she found her way back to this location where she was born.
All right. So the moral question comes from there is, so she remembered being born in this place because it was just somehow in her. Like she just knew, like she knew when she was there. This might be the place. Is that what like they're trying to imply? She was there and she's like, I think I was born here.
No, actually, they were saying that she didn't know until she went to this location and found all this evidence that she was. She kind of reminded me of someone who would be like a medium. She was connecting with these mothers that had passed away there and the babies, and she was just picking up on all these things. And then she found out the connection, and it was very, very strange.
Cynn, would you be more believe? What's the word I'm looking for? Believe. I don't know I don't know what the verbiage of that would be. Either way, do you believe in it more that there's just evil in that place? Like, in other words, such evil stuff was done in that place. Would that not leave an imprint of evil?
Yes, sadness and evil. Mm-hmm. Just overwhelming sadness. Can you imagine coming in? A woman has just had a child. They come back in and say, "I'm sorry, your baby died." And they were saying that to all of them because they were using those babies.
But just for the record, they still don't treat husbands like we even exist during pregnancies. Like the way I was treated was like they slapped a gown on me. They threw me in a room. I was terrified. They wheeled people past me and they told me, literally, you can go home now. It was like they don't care about us at all. And I know why, because we're not the ones having babies. You get that, Dave, right? That we're not the ones
I get that.
Like, you know that, right?
It's not about us. It's about the baby. and the
Yeah.
mom.
I get
Yeah.
that. So back to bashing babies as we've been all night. So maybe the movie's on Paramount Plus.
Yes, it was Paramount Plus.
I got that.
Streaming app.
You know what else is also good on that? The Tulsa King with Sylvester Stallone.
Ooh.
Oh, have you guys watched that show?
No.
Did anybody watch that show?
No.
Not
That
yet.
might be his best acting job.
I love him too. He's a great actor.
He is.
Evil
Like,
is
really-
also on Paramount Plus. I highly recommend that show because it is messed up.
I hope Cynn's got a show from that channel too. Then we could all go watch each other's shows.
Oh, I so wish. But you never know. It might be on a documentary on Paramount Plus. Who knows? Are you ready?
If
Yeah,
my
I'm ready.
internet don't get better, I won't be able to watch anything.
No, as long as the house doesn't leave the ground, we're good. We thought there was like yeah,
No.
it's okay. Cynn, go ahead.
All right. So in 1911, a train was ambushed in Coffeyville, Kansas, and later that year, another was robbed in Oklahoma. The gang of 5 bandits thought that one held thousands of dollars, but they only made out with $46 and 2 jugs of whiskey because it was just a passenger train. 2 days later, lawmen moved in on the somewhat drunken crew because they had gotten that whiskey along with the $46.
How big was
And
the jug? I mean,
one of them was named McCurdy. He boarded himself up in a hay shed, vowing he'd never be taken alive. So
Wow.
after an hour-long shootout, they sent a kid in because the grown-ups didn't want to check and maybe be shot by a still alive McCurdy. So they sent a kid in to make sure he was dead, and he was. Elmer McCurdy's body was taken to Johnson Funeral Home in Pawhuska, Oklahoma, where it was embalmed. It sat unclaimed for 6 months. Now, this guy was a notorious robber, train robber. He had killed a man first, but now he was a notorious train robber. Undertaker decided to take advantage of the bandit who wouldn't give up. So he dressed the corpse up as, cowboy, and with a rifle in his hand, put him on display where he charged customers a nickel each to see this guy. And it was lucrative. It was a very lucrative investment for this guy.
you bought a dead man.
Yes, on display. They each paid a nickel.
Because he was a train robber.
Yes. All right.
It sounds like P.T. Barnum.
Until 2 men came in claiming they were McCurdy's brothers.
Uh-oh.
And they wanted to give the body a respectful burial. The Undertaker reluctantly gave him up. So out of the funeral parlor display, he went into the Great Patterson Carnival Show, where he traveled all over the country as an attraction and a sideshow of human curiosities.
So wait a minute. The funeral parlor sold him out. Then he got sold out. Then his brothers showed up, and they weren't upset.
They're not his brothers.
All right, but wait a minute. Don't ruin that part of the story for me. I'm saying so far, the brothers show up, and they're not even mad that their brother's been standing out there like friggin' Bozo the Clown, just letting people pay a nickel to see his dead body. They're more, they want a proper burial. And the next thing you know, they got him somehow in a circus. So this guy was so despised that they were selling his body. Like, I hope that happens to me. I'm not lying. I said for a while, I'd love to be like completely like embalmed and have to like face people and make it as difficult as possible for them. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm not in the body anymore, so sell it. And if you can get people to pay a nickel, what do I care at that point? You can do whatever you want me. Use me as a boat. Just throw me away. That's all. Really, put me in the garbage. Go ahead, Cynn. I'm sorry.
Okay, so that was 11 years after that train robbery. That was 11 years worth right there.
Wow.
Then in 1922, one of the carnies from the Great Patterson Carnival Show put the well-preserved corpse up as a security deposit, but defaulted on a $500 loan. So the corpse was bought by Louis Sawney, head of an entertainment company in California. He acquired the body and put it in his traveling show, the Museum of Crime, which traveled up and down the West Coast until the 1940s. Now,
all right, now it's cool. Dave, isn't it cooler now that they did this to him?
Yeah. And
right?
the guy gets around. He's making bank for some people. So
you could be ashes, Dave. You could be ashes in an urn that makes people sad, or my friend, we could put you on the carnival tour for a couple of years. You might get a 10-year run out of it, Dave. Right?
I'd want to be a gargoyle. Like, stick me on top of a building.
All right, we don't get to pick now. Let's not get out of hand.
Just know though, somewhere between getting caught, being shot, and then going into that first traveling event, people kind of forgot who this was. They kind of just, okay, he's an outlaw, right? They just kind of forgot. All right, now, in 1949, Sonny died, and public excitement had died down, so the corpse was just stored in LA warehouses for years. In 1968, the body was sold to a now defunct Hollywood wax museum. It was billed as the 1,000-year-old man.
Jesus, poor guy can't win.
No.
The museum closed a year later, and the corpse got mixed up with wax dummies.
As you do.
And was eventually sold to the New Point amusement park in Long Beach. He was painted a fluorescent orangey red.
He went to Burning Man.
He was dressed
Did he run
as a
for
cowboy.
president?
Yeah, right.
No.
I think I've seen that statue.
And he was hung from a fake gallows as decor for a spooky ride in the Laugh in the Dark Funhouse. In December 1976, during the filming of the $6 Million Man episode, Carnival of Spies, at the New Point Museum Park, one of the crew was instructed to move a mannequin. Guess which one they were asked to move? The one in fluorescent paint. So when the crew member tried to lift it, one of the mannequin's arms came off. And it exposed what looked to be human bones. So everybody was called in. Several days later, the LA County Coroner's Office examined the body, found a copper-jacketed bullet in the chest, and a type of embalming fluid that was used in the early 1900s. Inside the corpse's mouth was a 1924 penny and a carnival ticket stub from the Museum of Crime in LA. From there, they reconstructed the story of the corpse with the help of several Oklahoma historians. In February 1977, the City Council of Guthrie, Oklahoma, was offered a burial plot in the Boot Hill section of the Summit View Cemetery to give McCurdy a proper burial. They agreed because it would be good for tourism.
Oh, yeah, he needs it.
So
now.
2 months later, a horse-drawn hearse brought a plain pine coffin to Boot Hill, where Elmer McCurdy was laid to rest at last, right alongside 3 other notable Oklahoma outlaws. One of those was William Bill Doolin, who was from the infamous Doolin-Dalton gang, also known as the Wild Bunch, the Oklahoma Hombres, and the Oklahoma Long Riders. Charlie Pierce was also of the Doolin gang, buried there. The state medical examiner ordered 2 cubic yards of concrete be poured over that coffin so his remains would never be bothered again. So, after 66 years, the body of the luckless man, who made far more money dead than alive, was finally put to rest.
That's crazy.
How's he luckless? How is he luckless? The guy says, I'm not leaving. And that sumbitch stuck around for 60-something more years. People had to deal with him. You had to deal with him for another 6 years. You think you were painting him, ha, 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 all laughs on him. But this guy managed to stick around for 60 more years and be a pain in the ass. And then they try to move his arm and they break it. And I'm thinking someone got fired. Someone got
Probably.
fired. Someone was like, "Where did you get this friggin' dummy from, Dave? Where'd you get the mannequin, Dave? Dave, where's the receipt? Show me the receipt." You know what I mean? One of those things. Like,
Right,
geez,
right.
How does this? And then we start the show off talking about how we're trying to create fake people. We can care so
No,
little
yeah.
about people. We just paint them and throw them around.
Embalm them, sell them off.
What have we learned? Nothing. What have we learned? Like what? What is? It's okay
David
when
said
they,
nothing.
The world's going crazy.
like listen. Mandy, Cynn. So if it's a guy, well, first of all, I guess if I say the word guy, I guess it's just fair game to just stuff them up, send them around. It's just it's a funny story. I'll be honest. I think it's a funny story. I'm laughing at it, but I feel bad for the guy. But you know, when you have that much shit luck, it becomes funny. Like you can't. You have to laugh at that. Like Jesus, criminy. Like that guy got to do more stuff. Think about it.
He got to do more dead than alive.
Well,
Yeah.
What I
How
find
is he-
interesting, he said it. He spoke what he said into existence. He
Yeah,
said,
hell
"I
yeah.
am not leaving."
He's not.
And look, he stuck around, for 66 years. And
How old was he when he died?
It did not say that. I couldn't find it.
You got to figure no older than 40, right? In his 30s, probably.
I would think he was in his 20s. The way
Yeah.
I was thinking maybe mid to late 20s.
So let's just say 30 though. So he lived twice as long dead. How does that even make sense? I just said that. He had a career.
Yeah, he had a career.
He's like Seacrest. He's been dead for a while, but he still has a career. Like, right? Like the guy had a great career once he was ridiculous. Dave, much better career than us, and we're both alive.
Yeah, for now. I mean,
See? All right, I'm gonna say this though. I want that to happen. Like, I would love to be stuffed because I'm not in the body anymore. I don't.
we'll be
believe
putting that
I
in your
am.
will now.
Oh,
Yeah.
I want to. I actually recently had to take it out. That I wanted a roast for my wake, and I got disapproved like about a year ago. I'm being dead serious too. I was like, I want a roast. I want the whole the dais. I want to be made fun of. It's what I want because I'm not going to be in there. I'll be up there watching the jokes and rating them. Like I just really don't care what they do with the body. If I'm being honest, like once I'm out of the body, I'm cool with it. Just get rid of it. Nothing fancy. Mandy, how horrified have you been from these conversations tonight?
I'm not horrified. No, it's I find it interesting how we all kind of didn't even know what we were going to talk about, but it all kind of ran together. It's crazy.
No, I didn't talk about dead babies or making babies or selling people. I did a couple of jokes. You guys somehow were in the same frame of mind. We're babies, creating them, killing them, selling them.
It's
And
so
then when they
weird
get
how-
older, we can still sell them over and over and over again. You guys are like a profit ring from start to finish if I kind of went like this.
Well, here's another thing. I'm wondering if that location is still open, and I wonder if someone actually lives there in this place, or what are they doing with it? Because
Which place? This one?
the Mercy Inn, where all that
Oh.
took place.
We can
That would-
drive there.
That would be a really good thing to find out.
Oh, I
I
wouldn't want
was
to go there.
trying to look into it more, but I couldn't find much on it. They have YouTube stuff on it, but more based on the movie that they just did.
We need a Scooby-Doo van,
I've been saying that for the
When that
ghost
arises.
sisters, yeah.
right? Scooby-Doo it. Just get in the van and they get there. Dave, what would you like to say to wrap up?
I don't know. My mind's still wrapped around like the implications of the story that I did. Like I don't know.
It settled in on you, huh?
Yeah.
There's too many implications because I immediately go to I have no say in what a female does, and I agree with that because I'm an idiot. I shouldn't have a say. Rag Bailey should have a say in what I do, but I don't think anytime you say scientist, I get nervous. I don't trust when I hear that word anymore. Allegedly, YouTube. I know you're getting new rules. By the way, YouTube X, which is now called, and so have all changed their rules recently. So anything medical, you either have to not say it at all, You can't really even cover it up allegedly. You got to go with the most. They fact check, and they're increasing that again. Yeah, I read it in the new things I signed. I just feel like that's terrifying because again, my point is, how do you know where it's at? And I don't mean the song by Beck. I mean, how do you know where the embryo is at 14 days? Who comes up with the time limit? How are these decisions made, right? And then they've been selling babies forever, dude.
There's a whole conference around this too, like the embryonic studies and stuff. So I would love. Here's my final thing. I would love to be a fly on the wall at one of those conferences because some things are going on. Like they even kept this work a secret for a long time, and they're finally talking about it now. So some sketchy stuff is going on.
Dude, I'd be buying drinks nonstop. Every scientist I saw, here, have another one. Have another drink. Now tell me, what are you really doing? Here, no, have another one. You know what I mean? Like, come on. They are definitely, dude. I'm against that whole send away for your heritage swab test thing.
I am too. My aunt rags on me because she did it, and I'm like, now they can clone you.
Exactly, they got you. Yeah.
Oh,
you know what's messed up though? Here's the messed up thing. If enough of my family members do that, they can get my or determine my DNA because enough of my family who's close enough to my DNA has submitted to this thing.
Ratting you out.
Yeah.
Mandy, what were you going to say?
I've actually done it already.
Oh, no.
I did.
Let me ask you this. Was it basically what you thought?
Yeah, I knew I had a lot of southern Italy and northern Italy in me. A lot.
And did they throw like one thing in there to make you go, oh, I didn't know that one. Just a little bit of one?
Yeah, there was some different weird. I'm like, what? Yeah, but I already knew that I had a lot of Scotland, Ireland, a lot of, like I said, Italy. I mean, there were so many different names on here. It was crazy. There was even names that I've never even heard of.
All right, but they basically gave you the information that you thought you were going to get, and they definitely threw in one thing that was like, maybe, whoa. All right. That's how I would do it. That's how I would do it.
Or something like that. There's some Cyprus. I've never even heard of this before. So that was different.
Cynn, you hear that, the bullshit on that, what I'm saying? If you tell me what you are, I write them all down, right? I'll do the research. I'll send you basically things, and then I'll put in like one thing to make you go, because that's what I would do. I don't want to send my DNA in the mail. We don't even do anything in the mail, but we want to send our DNA that way.
Yeah.
Cynn, anything you want to say to wrap up?
4 books are on Amazon. Please go check them out. Cynn Shrader Hill, author. You can also find me on Facebook. Cynn Shrader Hill, author, elkvalleyparanormal.com, and just go check them out.
Mandy, anything you'd like to say?
Yeah, if you guys are interested in a mediumship reading, you can go follow me on Facebook, Intuitive Medium Mandy. And if you want to watch live paranormal investigations, go follow me on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram.
Dave, you're not on a team yet?
No, I'm an army of one.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that, Dave.
I'm on the dream team.
There you go.
There you go.
Actually, I have to. Pam is saying hi to us, so I'm gonna say hi to Pam.
I didn't see her. Where is she? Oh, there she is. Sorry. Hi, Pam.
It just popped up. Yeah.
I have actually nothing to say after all that. That was a lot.
What did we do to you, Mike?
Well, I mean, I think you guys next time you really shouldn't be like picking out of a hat for themes, because it seems like that's what you guys did behind my back. Like it's like we're talking about babies tonight. It's gonna be babies. We good? We all good? All right. I got a story. I got one. This will freak them out. I'm gonna talk about a dead body. Does that count? Yeah, sure. I feel like I was set up, but maybe I wasn't. Maybe I'm overreacting.
Nope. You're overreacting.
No, I know, probably am, but it's just it's a little weird that you guys all picked the same night to discuss the same like.
It is. I find it weird.
Right? They're all currency, basically. And all 3 stories, we're just looking at them as currency, things we can make or build or sell, like toys. So that's pretty freaking scary, Dave. You did start it off on a bad note. seriously, like, terrified me from the beginning, got me confused. And
It
Mandy
is terrifying, though. Like, do we want synthetic humans running around?
I don't really want other humans running around. You could take out one neighbor house, a couple, just give me some more trees. I'd be happy with that. I don't know. Leading to the wrap up. For the machine, Mandy. For Cynn, Shrader, Hill, author. For Dreamy, David Barr. It is me, Mike Lepre, King Mike Hill. This was Legit Paranormal News, brought to you by legitpodcast.com. Tomorrow night we have Legit Paranormal Clips at 8:05 and Legit Paranormal 101 at 9:05. We're very creative with the names.